Well, of course, the alternative to aging is a grim one and brings with it the greatest mystery of all. What happens when we pass on? It's something we've all pondered, and we talked to a well-known medium who says he has the answers. Unlocking the secrets of the afterlife on The Breakdown. The people who gather to talk to medium and author Matt Fraser are from as far away as China and wait as long as a year and a half, and they come for one reason only.
It's amazing to see how people around the world are connecting and wanting to hear from those who had passed on.
Matt has 3 theories he believes about the afterlife, starting with what happens immediately after death.
When you're first passing or you're going to the other side, there's always people there that are ready to greet you.
And he says there are pearly gates, sort of.
It's much like going through TSA. So everything that's
Take
physical,
your shoes off,
right,
make sure you don't have any liquids in your bag.
No liquids, no belts. You have to let go of, when your soul takes off, first of all, you let go of the illness that's left behind. And anything physical, you let go of, the anger that you have. You let go of, any of the grudges that you're holding on to. And that's what their message is to us here in this world. Those on the other side want us to live our highest and best life.
Next, Matt believes you make your own heaven. What is heaven like?
What you loved here in the physical world. It's what you loved and what you enjoyed and what you spent time with doing when you were here in this world.
So live your life to the fullest.
It's almost like you're creating your own world, and it's based on your personality.
Next, according to Matt, the dead have jobs. What are our family members and our loved ones doing on the other side?
They do take on jobs, not like jobs at like Starbucks or
Chick-fil-A.
Right, it's not Chick-fil-A up there, but they take on divine tasks that they use to help us with here in this world.
For example, if you have a tough decision to make, they may send you signs to help guide you.
Pay attention to the signs. The signs are all around us, but sometimes they look like coincidences.
You might smell their perfume, feel their presence, or hear a familiar song.
It could be that you find pennies, dimes, feathers, dragonflies, butterflies, and you know it's a sign when it keeps happening and happening and happening and happening again. It's when you negate it and you say, that can't possibly be my dad. That's like writing return to sender on the envelope and shipping it back to heaven. The more open that you are, the more that you're able to go and receive the signs.
Matt gave me my own reading. Watch it now on our website and learn how to develop your psychic ability at thelistTV.com. Seeking after the afterlife on The Breakdown. So you're going to give me a reading. What should one expect if they're going to go into this?
Just be open, because you never know who's going to come through. You never know who's going to come through and reach. It depends on the person who has the message. And who passed in tragedy?
Just recently, my father-in-law.
He says to me, I thought I was going to beat this. I thought that I was going to get through this. He showed me him going back and forth to treatments, and I saw him going to the doctors, and he tells me he was supposed to get better. But then I keep feeling all of this pain in my stomach when I'm connecting with him. Did he have the cancer of the stomach, or was there issues in through here? And I said to him, what happened? And he just said to me that there was a blockage that had taken place. Like, I feel there was a tumor or something pressing right here. Do you understand that?
Yes, all of it.
He just said to me he was misdiagnosed. He says to me in the beginning they didn't realize he had cancer. It took a while to find out. Because I said to him, well, what happened? He actually tells me that he thought he had indigestion.
Yes, we did. We thought it was indigestion for a long time.
He just showed me like the Tums bottles, and I saw him like going like taking Tums and taking Tums. And he's like, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. And I said, well, how did they not know? And he says to me, well, I went for my physical, and he tells me like everything was fine. And then he says, meaning they would check other parts of his body, and then he went back, and then next thing you know, we found out we had cancer. And he's like, the puzzle pieces didn't add up. He says, and then I thought it was going to be okay. And he talks about that there was even questions over an operations or for surgery. Like he was supposed to go in for surgery.
Yes.
But he tells me he never made it. Do you understand that?
No, he did go, and that's when everything started to...
Oh, so he didn't make it after surgery.
After surgery.
So he passed after surgery.
Right.
No, it's his way of acknowledging that. The way that I'm hearing him, just to explain to you how it works, is it's quick bits of information. How'd you pass? Fast illness. What happened? Tragedy. And then I'll start to feel things in my body. Like I keep feeling this pressing right here. He shows me all the pain was right here.
He had all cancer in his stomach and his... Yeah, all of it.
But he says to me that he wants to acknowledge and let your husband know that he loves him and cares about him so much. Because he tells me about the way that your husband and you, he tells me like the past year of your life, you stopped so much to be there for him. He says it's literally you put your whole life on hold to be there. He says, and I want to thank you, because he says, you're not just my daughter-in-law. He says, you were like a daughter to me. And you sat with him when your husband couldn't, and when your husband couldn't be there, and he's acknowledging that. And he said, I had so much love here in this world, because he shows me like the two of you used to like cuddle on the bed with him or like lay next to him, and he's acknowledging that. And he says that to me. So as much as the pain is real, he says, you don't have to worry about me. And he loved your son here in the physical world. He was talking about your son. Did your son see him or have an experience where he saw him? Because he said to me, you need to let him know that that's real. So if your son said, because did he call him Papa?
Popo.
Popo, Popo. Oh my God, because he's having me say the word. He's saying to me like, I don't know if it was Papa or Popo, because he's saying it. So if he says that and says like, I see Popo, no, it's his way of acknowledging that he actually is seeing your father-in-law. And you just got the chills.
Because he says, I see Popo. And he talks to us, he says, Popo says this.
But that's a real experience. When you just got the chills, you just felt your father-in-law's presence right there. And that's his way of letting you know that he's right here and with you. He actually just leaned over and kissed you. So no, it's his way of just acknowledging and letting you know that as close as you were here in the physical world, that you'll always be that close on the other side. And more importantly, he says, I didn't just gain, he says, a daughter here in this world, he says, I gained another family. Because he's acknowledging about how he was so close and connected with all of you and how you did everything with one another. So it's his way of letting you know to send his love to everyone, that he is okay. And you know, he's laughing because he said to me, he says, my son's never going to believe this until it airs.
My father-in-law loved being on TV too.
Oh, he did perfect. Because he says to me, he says, and you know what's funny is when I'm connecting with him, he's all dressed up on the other side. And he's like, shows me that he wants you to know, and his son to know, that even though that he had passed on, that he's still able to watch over your life and to see so much. But he's upset, like, who sold his car or got rid of the car?
Just recently, yeah.
Because he says to me, like, he says, you know, they didn't even wait that long. He goes, next thing you know, my car's sold. He says, everything's going. And he's laughing. He's laughing about that. Because he says to me that, you know, that was his favorite car here in the physical world. Like, he loved his car. But
it was a Cadillac.
Oh, perfect.
He loved it.
Because it's his way of acknowledging that even though you got rid of it, he says, let them know not to worry. I'm still driving around in it in heaven. He says, that's how I want you to think of me. Because you remember, it's the things that they connected to, the things that they held on to here in the physical world.
Yeah.
So know that that's how he wants his son and his family to remember him. He says, it's no different, he says, than being here. He says, I just get to keep an eye on you 24/7.
I know he connects with Mateo all the time. He's always with him. It's magical to see that little boy talk about his Popo. Wow. Oh my God! Oh, I love him so much. Thank you.
But he saw this as an open opportunity to reach you today.
Because he knew we were going to be on TV. He loved being on TV. Whoa, that was so crazy. Thank you so much for giving that to me.
Oh, you're welcome.
No,
I'm
really,
so glad.
thank you.
You're very welcome.